So Proverbs 13:22 says, "A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children, but the sinner's wealth is stored up for the righteous." I don't know about you, but I want to leave an inheritance to my son. And it might not be the one that you're expecting me to say. A lot of people talk about money and they talk about finances and that sort of wealth, but I think that there are so many other forms of wealth, and we're going to get into what that is in this episode. So if you want to really leave a legacy for those that are coming behind you that you love, then this, I think, is a really important way for us to look at the stewardship of that, what that means, and how that plays out in all areas, not just our finances. You are showing up for everyone else, but somewhere along the way, you left yourself out and put your health on the back burner. The woman who takes care of everyone else needs someone in her corner too. Hey, I'm Cher, a certified holistic nutritionist, Christ follower, wife, and mom, and I created this podcast for you. Style and Stewardship is for the Christian woman who is done surviving her days and ready to steward her health legacy on purpose with real food built for the season of life that you're in. This is lifestyle stewardship for the woman who wants to do well, be well, and hear well done. I'm so glad you're here. You don't want your child to watch you do what you watched your mother do. And I understand that. I felt that same thing. I remember watching my grandmother's health decline and just feeling powerless and somehow feeling awful because I couldn't do anything. At that time, I didn't know enough. All I knew is she didn't need to be eating all the fast food that she was eating. And I would actually argue with her about it, just being real. When I decided to go down this path of doing something different and living differently, I did that because I didn't want my kid to see me go through the things that my grandmother went through. And this is the inheritance most of us don't talk about. This is the legacy most of us don't talk about. And it's not just genetics, it's traditions, it's habits, it's relationships with food, it's the patterns that you have of taking care of yourself or not taking care of yourself. And our kid or our children are watching us. They're watching us how we treat our body right now. And that's forming something in them. So that is, and I speak from personal experience. My son, when I'm going grocery shopping, I take him with me. And when he asks for certain things, I guide him and help him to make better decisions based on what I share with him about those things he's picking up. So he is at the point now, my husband thinks it's hilarious because he will pick up, something off the shelf and it looks good and he'll flip it around and he'll say, well, what's in this? Like my kid is doing that. And I'm so excited because that was not how I grew up. I grew up drinking things like Flavor Aid and Kool-Aid and buying the bags of sugar and eating boxes of corn cereal and my goodness, eating noodle packages with the little, what I'm talking about, the little foil package of seasoning and the cheese that was kind of suspicious because you could leave it sitting out and it was fine or put it in the fridge and it was fine, almost like it didn't even need to be refrigerated. And we would make grilled cheese out of that with the Wonder loaf of bread. That was like 99 cents when I was younger. Or we, peanut butter and jelly or all the things, macaroni and cheese. And I grew up eating all of those things. And there was no education around what was in it or what it would do. We just knew we were hungry and we were getting fed something. And my kid, he has a completely different approach than I do. Some people, they start where maybe you grew up in a household where you guys didn't have a lot of money. And one of the things that you had in your life was you were going to go to school and get a different education. Maybe you're the first to have a college degree in your family. Or maybe you come from a long line of people that did a specific job and you were like, I actually want to do something different. Or maybe you had most of your family in the military and you decided you wanted to join the military as well. Thank you for your service, by the way. We think about passing down money. We think about an inheritance of leaving land to our kid or leaving a house to our kid or some sort of an ESA. I don't know. But all these things, and those things are great. It's great to steward your finances. It's so that you can leave something, an inheritance to your children's children. But we're not just talking about finances. When I'm reading the book of Proverbs, it's all about wisdom. He's talking about passing down wisdom to his kid. He's talking about one of the passages where he talks about to stay away from a wayward woman. Like he's passing down, but people seem to park on this area where it's like, this is just finances. It's like, no, 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 no. This is the book, like Proverbs is one of my favorite books of the Bible, and it is a book of wisdom. And it's not just about what we're doing with our money. Just as the parable of the talents, in my opinion, what God put on my heart is everything belongs to him. So that was a parable, but it wasn't just about finances, right? It was, you were entrusted with something. So just as we are entrusted with this body, we are entrusted with our children to raise them, to steward their learning and all of the things. And passing down a legacy of health should be right there with passing down anything else, in my opinion. Wisdom in all areas, stewardship of all things, because this is lifestyle stewardship and it's about everything that God gave us and how we're managing those things. But what better way of their formative years, them being educated and just steered in a way that's going to only benefit them and benefit their health? Because that to me is such a major area of impact. And I get it. There are people that want to give their kid everything, and maybe that's going into a store and buying whatever it is that they want. And you want to tell your kid that they can have whatever they want. And we think that that is the end all be all. And I'm not telling you how to parent. Trust me, I am not telling you how to parent. Okay. I am in the trenches, but I just think that this is an area that's not talked about. And it's like, I don't have this all figured out, but I know that this is an area that you can start changing the legacy of for your family and for their health, for your children, for your husband even. And some husbands, they may not be on board right away, but they can get there. Trust me. Ask me how I know. So it's really about making different choices from the ones that were made before you. And that's how it started for me with even getting on this path of nutrition. And it's like every bite of real food that we choose is a vote for a different future. And I always say this, health can be as accessible and as simple as what you put in your cart and what ends up on the bottom of your fork. Every time you rest instead of continuing to push through, you're modeling rest to your kid, right? We're told to have a Sabbath, a special day of rest set apart wholly to the Lord. And it doesn't have to be overwhelming. I believe that it's overwhelming when we're not intentional. But when we're intentional and we know that this is something that we're going to do and that we intend to do, then it's just a part of our life. It's just a part of our lifestyle rhythms. The woman that I work with, they're not just changing their health. A client that I was recently working with, when we got on a call one day, she said something to me that just stuck out. And she said, this is really helping me. And I know this is going to help my child because I don't want him to end up with what's going on in my body right now. And that was so powerful to me because that's exactly why I love working with Christian women. And that is exactly why I believe in this idea of lifestyle stewardship and being intentional about what we've been given to steward, because it's not just going to, I can't see anything that God did that didn't impact someone else. He did things for the good of us, but he expects us to go out and do things for the good of other people as well. And this is an area that you can practically immediately apply right now today, is making different decisions with your health so that your child can see that. And whether this isn't going to say that they're not going to still want the thing from the drive-through or that they're not going to still want candy or anything like that. It's your household. You can do what you see fit. That is your parenting decisions. But I just wanted to just share that because it's amazing just the changes that I've seen in my own child's diet from when we first started going down this path to where we are now, and the way that he views food. You know, he even knows like, hey, this is not going to be great if I have this because it has too much sugar in it and I'm going to feel bad. And he's made that connection of what I eat is going to impact how I feel. And many adults that I know don't ever make that connection. They're just like, they think that they're getting older and that's why they feel sluggish. They think that they need some more coffee, or they think they didn't get enough sleep, or they assume that they need to go on a diet. Insert whatever that thing may be. But many people end up barking up the wrong tree when it's It's really, really simple. It truly is. And I know that it seems like there's a lot going on, a lot of moving parts with health and wellness, but it's actually a lot. It can be so, so simple. And I can definitely help you with that and show you how. But if changing your family's health legacy is on your heart, like it was on mine and continues to be on mine, I want to help you figure out where to start. And that's something I'm really, really passionate about. I would love to help you in that area because I know that when I help the woman of the house, she's going to then help everybody in her house, right? I'm not doing that. But when you teach someone and you share with someone what it looks like to be healthy in their real life and practically and what foundations to put down, it just changes everything for everyone in the house. It truly does. And it is amazing. And I love, love, love being a part of that. So if that is you, you can go to styleandstewardship.com/call, CALL, to hop on a free discovery call to see if working together one-on-one makes sense and if we're a good fit. The idea of legacy goes far beyond finances. It goes far beyond food. We're not just talking about that. It's about wisdom. Even when I'm sharing with my child why we buy certain things and why we don't buy other things, that's training him on stewarding his health and how to think about having discernment around what's in our food, what's been done to our food, what is food and what isn't food, even though it may be sold as food. And it's powerful. So we're teaching our kids life, right? I have my kid in the kitchen with me. You want to grab the rolling pin for me. You want to grab the measuring cups for me. And just letting him have a front row seat with that. And maybe your child likes animals. Maybe there's a farm opportunity or they can go to a farmer's market, something as simple as that. Because many times children have this idea of what food is based on, I want that, or they're being sold to or marketed to all the time with different commercials and things that are coming on that are playing during their shows. And they're seeing things that they are being like, oh, well, I want to get that sugary cereal or that sugary yogurt because it has Mario on it, or, insert whatever character here. And they're being trained by these companies. And I was like, what better way than for us to train our children in the way that they should go, right? In the way that they're pointed down this direction that is going to benefit their health and is not going to hinder it or cause them to have problems later on down the line, like the ones that I saw my grandmother have and other people in my family have, because they continued down that road instead of making the connection or saying, hey, I don't want to feel like this anymore. And it's so much closer. Health is so much closer to so many of us and so many of our family members than they even realize. But someone has to go first, and someone has to, I always say, in order to leave a healthy legacy, you have to first lead one. And that's just something that God put on my heart years and years ago. I just really want to encourage you to think about the legacy that you want to have for your child beyond just setting them up, going to college or the finances, which all those things are important, but their health. I truly believe like health is wealth, because you can have $1 million, but if you're sick, you're going to spend every last penny on your sick care. Until next time, your life matters. What you do with it matters. So what will you steward well?